we're going to, today, Abdullah, we're going to conclude, inshallah ta'ala. I spent an hour or so last night making these nice charts up for you. I advise you, Barakallahu Feek, to take pictures or something. Screenshots or something, because you may not find them all in one place the way that I have them set up here, right? It's going to take you many chapters and everything. We're going to conclude with the dama'ir, the pronouns. Inshallah, every type of pronoun and everything you'll ever need, not saying that there won't be more, but everything you'll ever need from pronouns will be here today, inshallah ta'ala. Okay, we said before that we have, I'm going to keep this page like this because I can't add. I got about 8 or 9 pages open. I can scroll to them.
I see.
But dama'ir are 2 categories, right? Or 3. We say al-munfasal, right? No, that's mutasal. Al-munfasal, which are connected, are disconnected rather, disconnected, right? They can be pronounced on their own. Then we have al-muttasal, attached, right? And then we have al-mustatir. Okay, the munfasal, we said they are marfu' because they are the mubtada. And we're going to go over all this inshallah ta'ala. Such as huwa, humma, hum, hiya, huma, hunna, anta, antuma, antum, and so on. Or they could be maf'ulun bihi mansub. Or they could be the object of the verb, such as when a verb takes either more than one maf'ulun bihi, or when you want to emphasize something, such as in iyyaka na'budu, right? We can say na'buduka, but by saying iyyaka na'budu, then we have singled out Allah Azza wa Jal by putting that iyya before it, and this is iyyahu, iyyahuma, iyyahum, iyyaha, iyyahuma, iyyahunna, iyyaka, iyyakuma, iyyakum, so on and so forth, which we'll go through inshallah. Then we have the damir muttasal, the ones which are connected. We said that those can be connected to a noun, right, to al-ism, which makes it mudaf ilay majroor. It can be connected to a harf, which makes it ismu majroor, majroor. And it can be connected to a fi'l, right? It can be connected to a fi'l, a verb. Now, inside the verb, it can be connected to a past tense or a present tense verb. It could be part of the verb. I just say part of. Or it can be the maf'ulun bihi, mansub, right? Such as, and we'll give the example for this one. Part of will be such as in akalu, right? Akalu, that wow is showing who the one is who did it, right? That's the fa'il. But we'll deal with that a little bit separate, connected to the mustatir, right? Mansub, for instance, darabaka, darabahu, darabahuma. He hit you, he hit him, he hit them too. When you connect it, then it is mansub, the maf'ulun bihi, right? When it's part of the verb, right? Then it's showing who the fa'il is. And it's either going to be the fa'il, marfu', and it's either going to be a letter added to the end of it, or say the end of it basically, or it's going to be mustatir. We're going to go over all this, right? We're going to go over, inshallah, all of this, and if we get finished, which I don't know, we'll start with al-ismul mawsul, the noun, the connecting nouns. Now, first one, right? Those that are disconnected, munfasil, they're the mubtada marfu'. Huwa, huma, hum. Hiya, huma, hunna. Anta, antuma, antum. Anti, antuma, antunna. Ana, nahnu, nahnu. Now this one here, on all our charts, this is not something I'm used to seeing. That in the dual, they put this for first person, because there is no dual in first person. Usually it's just plural. However, I've been seeing people recently include the dual here, because you could say two and it would still be the same. So just like these two are repeated and these two are repeated, huma and huma, antuma and antuma, we could say these two are repeated as well, nahnu, nahnu. So I put it there for the sake of making it easy. What if it's two of us talking about something, two of us going? We're still going to use the same pronoun, nahnu. So huwa, third person, singular, right? Male, as I have over here, third person, mudhakkar, mu'annath, mudhakkar, mu'annath. Second person, mudhakkar, mu'annath. First person, there is no mudhakkar, no mu'annath. Is that clear, Abdullah? Is it clear, Muawiyah?
No. No.
وأنا أعرف أنه واضح لك يا رشيد. So هذا هو وهي. All this is pronouns. What is this? This is when it's at the beginning of a sentence, or in our sentences that we're reading, it could be in the middle. Such as an example, قُلْ هُوَ اللَّهُ أَحَدٌ. Hu is not in the beginning here. It's the second word. However, قُلْ is a command for us to say هُوَ اللَّهُ أَحَدٌ. That's the beginning of the second phrase. So there could be a phrase inside of the overall phrase, but it's the beginning of that phrase or that sentence. So all of these are like this. Huwa, huma, hum. Hiya, huma, hunna. That's why I got over here in the corner, in the right corner, mubtada marfu'. Always. Clear, Abdullah?
No.
Now you got to memorize this chart. You got to be able to do this. Huwa, huma, hum. Hiya, huma, hunna. Anta, antuna, antum. Anti, antuma, na, antunna. Ana, nahnu, nahnu. Right? You got to be able to do that. You got to be able to write that. Then we have the other category of munfasil. And Rashid, for you already know it, so I don't have to linger on it. But I've been also going over this for the last 2 or 3 weeks with the brothers, so that's why it might seem like we're going fast, right? The other category of munfasil is those which are mansub. We said if we want to, if we have a verb which has more than one maf'ulun bihi, such as an ataytuhu iyah, I gave it to you, right? Ataytuka iyah, I gave it to you. I gave it, the first one was I gave it to him, right? Ataytuka, I gave you, iyah, it. I gave it to you, right? I can't say a'taytuka hu. I can't do that. I can't say a'taytuka. I can't say a'taytuka hu. I can't add another hu after this ka. So what do? You say iyah, which allows it to carry the second maf'ulun bihi as a pronoun. So I gave it to you, or I gave you it. Right? Now, these look exactly the same as the first category, except they have the iyah on them for the first ones. Well, hiya, right? They look the same as the rest of as the attached one, really, not the same as the detached, because they're attached to the iyah, right? Other than that, they're the same. So you have to memorize this chart. Iyahu, iyahuma, iyahum. Iyaha, iyahuma, iyahunna. Iyaka, iyakuma, iyakum. Iyaki, iyakuma, iyakunna. Iyaya, iyana, iyana. Is that clear, Abdullah?
No.
Okay. Now, we're in Muttasil. We're in Muttasil. Right? We said the Muttasil can be connected to a noun, a harf, or a fi'l. And it can be part of a fi'l, or it can be attached to it. Here we have it connected to a noun. Right? Baytu hu. Right? Baytu huma. Right? Baytu hum. And this is the same as the munfasil. All of them. The same as the munfasil mansub. The hu, ha, huma, hun. All these are the same. The connections are the same. Because they're connected to the iyah. Right? But together we look at them as one whole word. Even though technically iyah is a part and hu is a part, now they are one word. Made up of these two parts. This is hu is connected to iyah to make one whole word. Right? So it's munfasil because it is one whole word. You pronounce it by itself. But it is connected, if we say, to the iyah. So that's why they look the same. So we have Baytu hu, his house. This is mudaf ilayh. If we were to say Muhammad's house, or if we replace Muhammad with a pronoun, we say his house. Right? Now, I always tell you when we have mudaf ilayh that if we're able to, for instance, say this of this, or so-and-so's this, then these are mudaf ilayh. Right? If I can say the messenger of Allah or Allah's messenger, then this is an idafa construction, a possessive construction. Now that's with words using the names themselves, the alam, the proper nouns. However, if we're going to use pronouns, then it's not going to look like one of these two. It's going to look like, for instance, if this was Muhammad's house, right? It's not going to look like Muhammad's house anymore. It's going to look like his house. It's not going to look like Aisha's house. It's going to look like her house. Right? It's not going to look like Muhammad and Aisha's house. It's going to look like their house. Right? So in order to do that, we have to replace Muhammad, which would be, right, Baytu. Put too many humps there. Baytu Muhammadin, right? And it's majroor. If I want to replace this Muhammad with a pronoun, I'm going to say Baytu hu, his house. And Muhammad's not there anymore, right? So that's what we did here in this chart. We said Baytu hu, Baytu huma, Baytu hum, Baytu ha, Baytu huma, Baytu hunna, Baytuka, Baytukuma, Baytukum, Baytuki, Baytukuma, Baytukunna, Bayti, Baytuna, Baytuna. And this is here in Baytuhu or any other noun. I thought about putting a different noun every time instead of Bayt. Jamaluhuma, Siyaratuhum, right? Kamisuha, and just, but I said that might be more confusing than helpful. But the point it would help in
I think
with this,
helpful.
huh?
I think it would have been more helpful
It would have been more helpful. Why?
because we get to see it in different form, different words.
Yeah, well, the point is, any noun that it's connected to, any noun that they're connected to, right, it's going to be mudaf ilayhi, right? Any noun that is connected to is going to be mudaf ilayhi. Let me see. We don't have any here that I see on this page. Anyway, it's connected. And any noun that it's connected to is going to be mudaf ilayh. Like we say, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. Wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluhu. Abduhu. His messenger. Wa rasuluhu. His slave and his messenger. Abduhu, his slave. Wa rasuluhu, his messenger. Right? This is an idafa construction. When we say abduhu wa rasuluhu, right? His messenger, his slave. This here is mudaf ilay majroor. Rasuluhu, who, this circle there, mudaf ilay majroor. Right? Inni abduka is in the dua. Inni abduka. I am your slave. Abduka. I am your slave. This is, if you say for any, inni abduka. Right? Inni is here, inna plus me, right? Abdu, right, becomes the khabaru inna, marfu', right? This is ka mudaf ilay. This ka is mudaf ilay. I am your slave. Majroor. It's in a position of being majroor, but it's a pronoun, so it's mabni. It never changes. So I could put a different a noun here, but like I said, I figured it would be more confusing than helpful if I was to change it. So now you see the different pronouns on different words. I figured it would be too much going on at one time to really pay attention. So here, you put these pronouns at the end of a noun. When you put these pronouns, these dama'ir, at the end of a noun, then they become mudaf ilay majroor. Is that clear?
No.
Now I can do the same thing with a harf jar, a preposition, or a dharf. Right? If it's to a dharf, it would be more like a, if it's to a dharf, then it's going to be mudaf ilay. But here, if I connect it to min, wa ila, wa an, wa ala, wa fi, wa ruba, wa kaf, wa lam, wa ba, then wa ba, wa lam, wa kaf, no, wa ba, wa kaf, wa lam, min, wa ila, wa an, wa ala, wa fi, wa ruba, wa ba, wa kaf, wa lam. That's the order in al-Ajrumiyya. Any of these 9 prepositions, min, ila, an, ala, fi, rubba, ba, kaf, lam. Such as we have here. Now I changed it up here because I didn't want you to think it was only min, and I figured if I only put min here, it might be more. Whatever. Minhu, minhuma, minhum. Biha, bihima, bihinna. But it could be the opposite. It could be bihu and minha. Right? Any of these. These in blue can be interchanged. Alayka, alaykuma, alaykum. Ilayki, ilaykuma, ilaykunna. Anni, anna. Right? This is ismu majroor. Just like if I said min Muhammadin. For instance, this letter is from Muhammad, as the Prophet ﷺ used to write. Min Muhammadin, min Muhammad Rasulullah ila Fulan. He would write a letter to the kings, right? Min Muhammadin. Now I want to replace that. I'm going to say min who. We already talked about Muhammad. Yeah, did you see Muhammad when you were in France? Yeah, I saw Muhammad. I went to his house, right? And he gave me a gift for you. Hada minhu. This is from him. Laka. For you is an example. So this who is a damir, an attached pronoun. It's attached to a harf jar. So it's ismu majroor. It's in a position of being majroor. Even though it's mabni, it never changes. Laka, for you. This la is a harf jar. Ka is ismu majroor, even though it never changes. So you have to add these. And if you notice that the where was it at? Munfasal, all of these attached, right? They're all the same. You got this who, huma, hum, ha, huma, hunna, ka, kuma, kum. Same thing. Who, huma, hum, ha, huma, hunna, ka, kuma, kun. Then we have, no, not that chart. This one. Who, huma, hum. Right? Ha, huma, hinna. This is hinna only for reading purposes, but it's humma as well. But because of the bi, if I said min huma, but I don't say bi huma, it's just from for purposes of reading. Alayka, alaykuma, alaykum are all the same. Is that clear?
No.
So when it's connected to in ism, it's mudaf ilay, majroor. When it's connected to a harf, it's ism majroor. We already did these over here, so we're done with munfasal. Right? Now we got to connect these to a fi'l, which I got to scroll over. Mu'tasil bil fi'l. This is connected to a past tense verb. This is connected to a past tense verb. Any past tense verb. Even though I only changed and made us 3 of them here. One in the third person, one in the second person, one in the first person. And it could be to, it could be to a present tense verb as well. Because we see this, I made the mu'annith, or I made the mu'annith part of it present tense. Right? In both the third and the second person. So I said, darabahu, he hit him. Darabahuma, he hit them too. Darabahum, he hit them. Darabuha, he hit her. Or yadribuha, he's hitting her. Yadribuhuma, he's hitting them too. Yadribuhunna, he's hitting them. Ja'alaka, he made you. Right? Not that he created you, but it could be that he made you, he fashioned you in a certain way, but it also could be he made you do something. Right? He made you into a certain position. Ja'alaka amiran. He made you the amir. Right? So ja'alaka, he made you. Ja'alakuma, he made you too. Ja'alakum, he made you guys. 3 or more. Ja'aluki, or yaj'aluki, asaf. Yaj'aluki, he is making you to a female. Yaj'alukuma, he's making you two to females. Yaj'alakunna, he's making you females. 3 or more. Balagani, balagani means he reached me or he informed me. Right? Balagani. Balagana, he informed us or he reached us. Yabluguna, he is reaching us or he is informing us. right? Showing past and present. Whenever we add these dama'ir mu'tasila to a verb, past or present, right? Then it's the maf'ulun bihi. He's hitting who? Him. He's hitting who? Her. He's hitting who? You. He's hitting who? Me. Object of the verb, maf'ulun bihi, mansub. Whenever these are connected to a verb, then they are maf'ulun bihi. Is that clear?
No.
Guys, يعني in this chart where you have مؤنث, is it فعل مضارع or ماضي?
Here is mudari', but I'm not focusing on
مضارع.
the mu'annith in what's blue. I'm focusing on the mu'annith in the dama'ir. So ha,
Oh, in the
huma, hunna. Sah?
Yeah, صحيح صحيح.
Sahih. I'm not focusing on the verbs right here. I'm focusing on the pronouns.
Okay.
Now, then we have fil madi. We dealt with everything else from here on out. I think we only got 2 more charts. Let me see. No, yeah, 2 more after this one. Now, all the attached pronouns as far as being something other than the verb themselves, we dealt with them. And this one here, right? When we said mu'tasab bil fi'l. What we did there is we dealt with our chart of those which are separate from the verbs. Separate from the verbs, right? Meaning here they're the maf'ulun bihi, mansub. These 3 charts where it says fil madi, fil mudari, and fil amr, then they are dealing with the fa'il, the doer of the verb themselves. The doer of the verb themselves, that's what we're dealing with, and that is what the pronoun is. So the pronoun here is not going to be something outside of the verb or the doer of the verb. Rather, it's going to be the doer of the verb in these 3, in these charts. So if we remember, and I'd have to scroll back, I'll do it for a second, no problem, it's not impossible. I said we have inside the fi'l, we have those which are mansub, such as darabahu, darabahuma, darabuhum. Then we said we're going to have those which are mustatir. Some of them we're going to be able to see, and some of them are going to be mustatir, they're going to be hidden. And those are the doers of the verb. Those are the doer of the verb. So what we have here, right? I'll take a different color pen or something. These mustatir and those which are part of the verb mu'tasal, because mu'tasal is not mustatir. Mu'tasal means attached. These are in green the fa'il. Right? Let me write. It's not letting me write on past that margin for some reason. These are the fa'il. Right? The doer of the verb. So, and I'll explain, inshallah ta'ala. Seems like a lot, but really, it's really easy. Right? And if you master this, you've mastered a great deal of how stuff is going to work. Okay. This is a verb chart, Abdullah, which you have to memorize. Right? If you don't memorize it, then you're wasting your time. Right? Not mine. I'm getting better and better and better, so I'm improving. You know, I'm understanding everything in more detail and all that. But if you don't memorize these charts, it's not going to benefit you, right? So we've spent 30 some weeks, maybe we've had 36, 37 classes in the Nahl Wadih. Let me see how many. I could tell you exactly how many. And I didn't record one of them. We've had 38 classes. I didn't record one not last week, but the week before that didn't record. That's 30. That's 39. And the first two classes didn't record. That's 41. And today it'll be 42. So you'll have wasted 42 hours if you don't want to do these charts.
So that's nearly the whole book, isn't it?
Huh?
Is that nearly the whole book you've covered?
We're almost done with the second section. There's 3 sections, but we did about 10 weeks of review. We did about close to 10 weeks of review when we finished section. When we finished about half of the second section, we did a review. It took us about 10 weeks to do it. Right? Something like that.
Ustaz,
No.
أنتوا عم تدرسوا من المدينة book? Are you studying from the Medina book?
No, we're taking from a Nahl Wadih.
نحو الواضح.
Naam. The Medina books are not meant to emphasize grammar. Right?
Vocabulary, isn't it?
Medina books is mostly about vocabulary. Now there are some grammar rules that you can use, using the keys in the back of the books, but they're not meant to focus on grammar. And the vocabulary is what's mostly important, and that's why 5 days a week we read other stuff, because we build our vocabulary and we see the way Arabs put sentences together. Because not just vocabulary, but how to put sentences together. Because I could say apple, hungry, you. And those are 3 vocabulary words, but you need to find out how to put them together. You are hungry, or you want an apple, or whatever. I have to figure out how to put them together. So we do that by reading the Matun Talib al-Ilm and their explanations. However, 1 day a week we focus on grammar because we do need to know some grammar. And in Nahl Wadih, it gives grammar in a more piecemeal than, say, Al-Ajrumiyya. Al-Ajrumiyya is basically something to be memorized for those who already know Arabic and can determine what's going on, because he starts bringing everything together real fast, right? Whereas in a Nahl Wadih, he takes it and he breaks it down in a much more bite-sized sections. And so we've been going over that in Nahl Wadih, right? Wa iyaka. All right, iyaka. What is that, Abdullah? What is iyaka?
You too.
Nah, in Arabic, I don't care what the translation is. What is it? What is it in Arabic? Iyaka.
What you mean? What talking about, like the foul or something like that?
What is it? What is it? What is this function in Arabic language?
You confusing me now.
What is iyaka? Get okay. Muhammad Rasulun. Muhammad is a messenger, right? Muhammad. What function does it have in a sentence?
What's the 2 words? Mubtada.
Okay, mubtada. Muhammad is the mubtada. Jayyid. Marfu', right?
Yeah.
Okay. Wa iyaka. What is iyaka? I'm not confusing you now because you understood Muhammad Rasul.
Marfu' too.
Iyaka is marfu'.
Ain't that what I just said the last time?
You said mubtada.
Muhammad. Mubtada. Okay.
Okay, but wa iyaka.
So the khabar. No.
Nah, mu khabar.
The cub would be the cover, right?
No.
The whole
Man.
word is
Man, Abdullah. We just got through saying Iyahu, Iyaha. Here, look at this. Iyaka is a damir munfasal. Maf'ulun bihi. Mansoob.
okay. So the whole thing is okay.
So, yeah, I just got through explaining that. I said who is muttasil to iyah, but as a whole, it is the damir. So iyaka, no matter what, if it's in iyaka na'budu or wa iyaka after jazakallahu khairan. So he said to me, Jazakallahu khaira.
So this is Damir Munfasal.
Yes, he said to me, Jazakallahu khaira. Jaza is he rewarded in past tense. But we already said when we talk about this, like radiyallahu anhu, this is past tense. Sallallahu alayhi wasallam is past tense, but it's a dua. So means may he reward you. Jazaka. So jazaka is what? This ka here is what? This ka is a damir. Is it muttasil or munfasal? It's muttasil.
It's attached.
It's attached. Anytime it's attached to a verb, it's what? Maf'ulun bihi. It's the object of the verb. May Allah reward you. Allah, lafdul jalala here is marfu'. So it shows us that he is the fa'il, the doer. May Allah reward you. Khayran. Reward me with what? Reward me with good. Right? Then I said to him, wa iyaka. Right? Wa iyaka. Wa is a ismu mawsul. Right? It's a connecting noun. Iyaka. And you too. But you too what? What is it? Think about it. You too what? What about you too? What are you telling them? And you too what?
And you too as in the reward.
And the reward. May he reward you too. But I don't have anything here too. I don't have any jaza or anything mentioned here. So I have to, my ka, I don't say wa anta. Right? Because anta is a damir munfasal. It's a separate pronoun and a detached pronoun that's always marfu'. It's always the subject of the verb. It's always the one doing the verb. Wa anta means and you what? You're not doing anything. So I have to say wa iyaka, as I said here, because you're the object of the verb. And since I don't have jaza there at the verb, then it has to be detached. And I can't put ka by itself, right? Because that goes attached to something. And I can't say anta because anta is the mubtada marfu'. So I want to say and you too, right? And you and you as well. But I don't have a verb I don't have a verb to attach it to, and it's not the subject, it's the object. So how do I do that? Wa iyaka. Simple. This iyaka is functioning the same as this ka on jazaka, lahu khayran. But jazaka is attached to a verb. This is not attached to a verb. This is standing alone by itself, and the only way it can do that is with the iya. You understand?
No.
Okay. Well, I said, what is it earlier? You tried to tell me it's a mubtada, so I want to make sure you're understanding.
I got the words mixed up. I know the function of it though.
Okay.
I know what it's doing.
You can explain it to me in English. I don't care. Because I can tell you I understand it all day long, but if I can't explain it to you, then I don't understand it. I can tell you, yeah, I know what Thalathatul Usul is about. Tell me what it's about right now. It's about 3 questions. Okay, you know something, but tell me more than 3 questions about 3 questions. What 3 questions are they? Oh, it's about who is Allah and what is the religion, who is Muhammad. Okay, you know a little bit. What did it tell me about Allah? Does it start right away with Thalathatul Usul? How come it says in the beginning that it's obligatory upon us to know 4 things, but then the book is called Thalathatul Usul? That doesn't make sense to me. Oh, Akhi, that's because that letter was inserted later on by the students as an introduction. Okay, now I know you know a little bit about the book. But just because you tell me you know about the book and you can't answer no questions about the book or explain about the book, then you read the book, but you don't know nothing about the book. Right? So we have to be able to regurgitate this. And this is why the ulama tell us to teach what you learn. To teach what you learn. Right? And one of the best ways to learn is to teach. Meaning you learn it. You stick to your level. You don't try to go beyond it. I don't go around telling anyone that I'm a sheikh of Nahu. Anyone who thinks that I'm a sheikh of Nahu is wrong, and they can come attend my class, and Suhaib is going to correct me every day, once or twice, right? But I know enough Nahu that I can get through this, and the more I go over it with you guys, then the better I'm going to become at it. And the same thing goes with you. You go over it with yourself. You set a teddy bear in front of you with a little dry erase board and a marker and say, look, Teddy, I'm going to teach you the Dama'ir. And you write them on the board in front of the little teddy bear and you teach them at tea time. No problem. It's funny. You're laughing. But, wallahi, I got a story. I'll send it to you guys. There's an Indian guy. There's an Indian guy. He did a video. He loves Arabic language. And he speaks Fusha, wallahi, 100%. And he loved the Arabic language, and he goes around correcting the Arabs and their mistakes from their Amiyah, from their colloquial speech. And he did it. He said, I would go through the street talking to myself. I would look at that person and I would act like I was having a conversation. Everybody thought I was crazy. I would go home. My family didn't understand Arabic. They definitely didn't understand Fusha. And I would tell my sister, Nawilni kub min al-mai min fadliki. And then I would translate to her in Urdu what I wanted her to do. You know? And I would tell her, you know, kul bi yaminik. And then I would tell her in Urdu because I would want her to. So I would say everything in Arabic and in English. This is stuff you have to do. If you really, really, really want to get it, you got to go to efforts. Especially living in the non-Muslim country. Right? You don't have very many opportunities to practice it. So, let's go here. Like I said, we're not going to anywhere near go on past the into the Asma al-Mawsula today, but no problem. This is these next three charts, Fil Madi, Fil Mudari, Fil Amr. Right? They are all charts talking about the Damir, which is part of the verb itself, meaning it's the doer of the verb. So for instance, I can say خلق الله. خلق الله. Allah here is my fa'il. Lafzul jalala, he's my fa'il. Marfu'. As-samawati wal ard, whatever, right? Or I could say khalaqa as-samawati wal ard, because I already mentioned Allah up here, right? I don't have to say the fa'il. I don't have to say the fa'il. Many times it's not said, right? So sometimes, for instance, Shaitan tells Allah. Shaitan tells Allah when Allah asks him, how come you refuse to make sajda to me? He said, Khalaqtani. Khalaqtani min nar wa khalaqtahu min teen. Right? Wa khalaqtahu. I just use these two because those are the shahid. Those are the what we're trying to bring up. Wa khalaqtahu, not tuhu. Tahu. Right? But it could also khalaqtuhu biyadi. I created him with my hand. Khalaq. No, I put that backwards. Khalaqtuhu biyadi. So now Who is the fa'il here? Here in this sentence here, it's Allah Azza wa Jal. We know that because the name is apparent, it's there, it's marfu. But in this sentence, خَلَقَ السَّمَوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ, where's the fa'il? Whenever we have a verb, we have to have a fa'il, always. It could be apparent or it could be not apparent. خَلَقَ, it's not apparent there. خَلَقْتَنِي, you created him. Is it apparent here? Yes, it is. You. خَلَقْتَنِي. خَلَقْتَهُ, it's apparent there. You created him. You created me. Here as well, I created. It's apparent there. خَلَقْتُهُ, I created. Right? I created. خَلَقْتُ, أنا. Me.
خلقتني.
Yeah, here. خَلَقْتَنِي. This one here.
This.
خَلَقْتَنِي.
Translated to what?
You created me.
Okay.
The ni is for me. It replaces the e because you can't say khalaqti, right? That would sound feminine. It would sound like a feminine word, khalaqti. But so the ni is the pronoun here for you created me. This would be the object of the preposition, right? This pronoun here, this is the object of the verb, khalaqtani, right? This is maf'ulun bihi, mansub. This one though is part of the verb, the fa'il. So now let's look up top. And this is nothing new, Abdullah. We explained all this last few weeks, right? So let's look up top. Some verbs, you can see who the fa'il is built into it. So this is the fil madi, the past tense verb. Let's look at it first. Jalasa. Jalasa. Jalasu. This chart, you have to memorize this chart. Jalasa. Jalasa. Jalasu. Jalasta. Or jalasat rather. Jalasat. Jalasata. Jalasna. Right? What does this mean? Let's look at this and say Jalasa. I come down here, singular, third person, male. So this is he sat. Dual, third person, male. Them two men sat. Plural, third person, male. Them males sat. I come down.
Them or they?
Them, they, I don't know. It's English. I ain't worried about English grammar. Same thing. Mu'annith, feminine. Singular, third person mu'annith. Jalasat means she sat. Dual, third person. Mu'annith means jalasata means them two females sat. Plural, third person mu'annith. Jalasna means those three or more females sat. Same thing goes down. Second person, male, singular. Jalasta, you, male, sat. Second person, female, singular. Jalasti, you, female, sat. So on and so forth. So you can figure out what they mean by where they fit in the chart here. By drawing the lines as I was drawing them with that purple marker. So, what is the red here? And why is there no red in these first two boxes on the top right? Jalasa, we don't get to see who did it. Right? We don't get to see inside the verb itself who did it. So we say this is mustatir. This is hidden. This is hidden, not revealed to us. But it has the meaning of huwa. Jalasat, the same thing. This ta is called a ta tatnith, showing us that it's a woman. That's it. But it's not the fa'il. The fa'il itself is hidden. Right? With the taqdiruhu hiya. It's meaning or its estimation, its implied meaning is hiya. With the rest of them, such as in this one, jalasa, then this alif al-ithnain, meaning the alif of two, or alif al-muthanna, alif ithnain or muthanna, either way. This means the two. Jalasu, this waw al-jama'a, meaning the waw of a group, three or more, shows us who did it. Same thing, jalasata. We know it's feminine, but this shows us that it's two of them. Jalasna, this is called the noon and niswa. Don't worry about the names. If you memorize the names, that's great. That's better. But this na is showing us that it was a group of females who did it. Ta, jalasta, is showing us that you did it. Right? You, one male. Jalastuma, showing us you, two of you did it. Jalastum, three or more of you guys did it. Jalasti, you, a female did it. Jalastuma, you, two females did it. Jalastunna, you, three or more females did it. Jalastu, shows me I did it. Jalasna, shows me we did it. That's your file. That is your file. Those that are in red, now circled in purple, and I'm removing the purple, right? They are your files. In the red here, those are your file. The only one that's mustatir in the past tense verb is jalasa and jalasat. Everything else, the u, na, tum, tunna, na, tu, ta, ti, all of those are your file. And if we go back here, if you can keep this in your mind for a second, when I go back to the munfasil marfu', for instance, look at this. Ta, ti, tuma, tuma. Right? Look at this. They're the same as their pronouns. Anta, anti, ta, ti, tuma, tuma, tum, tunna. It's the same. So when you memorize one chart, it makes the other charts much easier. Right? So you have to memorize these charts. Who is the file? Who's the doer here? I don't know. It's hidden. Means who. Hua. Him. Who's the file here? I don't know. It's hidden. It means hiya. Who's the file here? Oh, I know that. Two people. Past tense. Right? Two people. Right? Who is it did here? Three or more. Here's here. Three or more females. Who did it here? Three or more of you guys males. Who did it here? Three or more of you females. Who did it here? I did it. Who did it here? We did it. Who did it here? I don't know. It's hidden. But I know that it means hua or hiya. Is that clear?
No. But it seems like it's still, I know it's hidden, but you still can see it.
Okay, that's good. If you can see it, you can see it because you know it. And that's good. But if I were to ask you to break down the verb into i'rab of doing the grammatical breakdown of the word, you're not going to have it. Whereas, for instance, jalasa, you're going to say fil madi, past tense verb, mebni ala fatha, right? Mebni ala fatha. It's built upon a fatha. It's never going to change, right? Jalasa is never going to change there. Fil madi, mebni ala fatha. File. Where's the file? There's nothing written there is the file. There's nothing added to it to make it the file. Nothing. Right? The file we don't know. We say ad-damir mustatir taqdiruhu huwa. A hidden file. The file is a hidden pronoun and is with the estimation of huwa. Right? Same thing here. But here it's not hidden. It's added to the verb itself. Jalasa. Right? It's not here. Who is it? Damir muttasil. Right? Alif al-ithnain or alif muthanna. That's your file. Marfu'. marfu', because your fa'il is always going to be marfu'. Your doer is always going to be marfu'. Even if you don't see that dhamma, it doesn't matter. It's always going to be marfu'. Right? So if you see it, good. But technically, it's not been added to it like the rest of them have been added to it. So it's called mustatir. Fil mudari. You got to memorize these charts. Fil mudari. يجعلوا يجعلان يجعلون تجعلوا تجعلان يجعلن تجعلوا تجعلان تجعلون تجعلين تجعلان تجعلن أجعل نجعل نجعل. You gotta memorize these charts. Now, we have 4 letters which show us that a verb is in the mudari, is in the present tense. We have the ya, right? We have the ta, we have the alif, we have the noon, right? Ya, ta, alif, noon. We can see them here. Ya, ta, alif, noon. And you'll notice every single one of these has one of those in front of it. Ya, 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 no. Ya, ta, 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 noon, noon. All of them have that. That's how we know a verb is in the mudari. If it has a ya, a ta, an alif, or a noon in front of it. Right? Now, these that have the green next to them, the damir, the fa'il is hidden. It's hidden. Right?
Mustatir.
It's mustatir. The rest of them, they have something in them which we know. So for instance, yaj'alu. Who's the doer here? We don't know from the verb itself, but it has the meaning of huwa. It's mustatir. Here, yaj'alani, our fa'il, our doer, is the alif al-ithnain. Same as in the madi, right? The alif al-ithnain, because it's 2, right? Yaj'aluna, waw al-jama'. This noon shows us that it's marfu'. That's it. This noon is replacing this dhamma here. In both of these cases, this noon is replacing the dhamma, right? Because when I put lam in front of yaj'alani, I'm going to say yaj'ala, because lam makes it majzoom. What's the sign of it being majzoom? The hadaf noon. Right? When I put len in front of yaj'aluna, I'm going to drop my noon. The wow's still there, showing us 3 or more. But I'm going to drop my noon because my noon is no longer needed because it's not marfu'. It's mansoob after len. And the sign of it being mansoob is,
With the alif.
Yeah, you'll put an alif here, but the sign of it being mansoob is the dropping of the noon.
No.
So the noon is the sign of marfu', like that dhamma there. So the fa'il here is the alif or the waw. Same thing here, it's the alif. Same thing here, it's the alif. That's your fa'il. Right? Here, this is the noon. There's noon and niswa, showing us 3 or more women. Here, waw jama'. Here, noon and niswa. And over here, in this column here, this is called the ya al-mukhataba, the ya of the female that you're talking to. Right? This noon is the sign of marfu'. Taj'alina. Right? If I put lam or lan in front of it, when it becomes majzoom or mansoob, we're going to drop that noon. The ya is still there for who we're talking to. But because it's now mansoob or majzoom, it no longer has the noon there. We say taj'ali. Right? So, if I can erase a bunch of these purples here, give me a second. طيب. Now, as I said, these that have the green written next to them, they don't have anything to do with, right? We can see ya is third person, but this ta is a feminine third person. This ta here is masculine second person. This a is for ana. This noon is for nahnu. So we know what person they are and what sex they are due to the ya or the ta. Now these two are the exact same verb, exact same written. Taj'alu wa taj'alu. This one means she and this one means you to a male. You have to know from context what's being spoken about or what's being written about. But they're the exact same. The rest of them, aj'alu, naj'alu, yaj'alu, they're different. Now, the damir, the file here is mustatir. Huwa, hiya, anta, ana, nahnu. The rest of the files are very apparent. Who's the file in taj'alina? The ya al-mukhataba. The file in taj'alani? The alif al-ithnain. Yaj'alani, alif al-ithnain. Yaj'aluna, waw al-jama'a. Yaj'alna, nun al-niswa. Taj'aluna, waw al-jama'a. Taj'alna, nun al-niswa. But in these, with the green, they're mustatir. We have one more quick slide, and alhamdulillah, it's short. It's the last slide. Whoever's taking pictures needs to picture that, right? It says, these are fil amr. These are commands. Right? These are command verbs. And command is only taking place in the second person. You do not command someone who's not present, third person, nor do you command yourself. And as we always say, even if you're commanding yourself, you tell yourself, man, you get up. Go over there and do that. You're talking to yourself as if you're another person. So, second person is all we deal with when it comes to the commands. And all of them, if we look at this chart, the only one from the command, from the mudari, which is mustatir, is anta. Same thing in the commands. If'al. If'al. Right? We don't have anything added to there. The damir is mustatir. The fa'il is mustatir. The doer of the verb is hidden with the meaning of anta. If'ala, it's majzoom. We dropped our noon. It's no longer marfu'. It's majzoom after we turn it into a command. So we don't have the noon there. So the alif remains, and that's your file. The alif al-ithnain. The waw al-jama' remains. We drop our noon. Yaf'aluna, taf'aluna rather. We drop our noon because it's majzoom. We add the alif here to protect that waw. The alif al-wiqaya. Right? Then we have if'ali, which was if taf'alina. We dropped our noon because it's no longer marfu'. It's now majzoom because it became a command. So we dropped our noon, and our ya al-mukhataba, the female ya that we're talking to, is still there. If ala, you two women do it, the alif al-ithnain is done there. The noon is dropped because it's majzoom. And the if alna, this is the same because it's mabni. It never ever changes. That noon and niswa never ever changes. Right? So we can see who the file is there through the noon and niswa. So we have the only one that's mustatir is anta. You do it to a male. Are there any questions about this, Abdullah? Or Muhammad?
Not at the moment.
Or Muhammad? Or Muawiyah or Rashid. No problem. Anybody that has them. I'm focusing on you because I love you the most.
I don't believe that.
Abdullah's my friend for 15 years, man. He's been a good friend.
One thing that I get confused is with the terminology, these terminologies.
Yeah, I understand. But there's no way around it. There's no way around it You're not going to get around it if you're going to learn the language in technicality. If you're going to learn some details about it, you're not going to get around it. Now, you can get around some of it, and you can say, you know what, I don't need to know this. Just let me memorize the charts and what they mean. He, she, he does, she does, he did, she did. Fine. That's no problem. You don't have to memorize any of the terminologies. However, the more you know, the better. And if you start at 40 classes ago and go up until now, inshallah ta'ala, you'll get to know them. Access to Quranic Arabic. We have classes on YouTube for their access to Quranic Arabic. That's an excellent resource for learning this and learning it in the English terminology, which eventually turns it into the Arabic terminologies. The terminology is what gets you. The main thing is you want to know it. Right? If you can do these charts without doing all this stuff, fine. If you can write these charts out, and I give you a verb. I give you a verb, shariba. And you can say shariba, shariba, sharibu, sharibat, sharibata, sharibna, sharibta, sharibtuma, sharibtum, sharibti, sharibtuma, sharibtunna, sharibtu, sharibna, sharibna. I'm cool with that. Right? Yashrabu, yashrabani, yashrabu, yashraba, like that. I'm fine. Right? Tashrabu, tashrabani, tashribna. Right? I'm fine. Tashrabu, tashrabani, tashribuna. If you can do that, I'm fine. As long as you can make the charts, that's fine. But these are the details of all these charts. What is the damir? What is the huwa? What function does it have?